Okay, hi and welcome to my new booktube channel, first video ever. Oh my god. And first up I have a book haul for you guys because, it's summer vacation and everyone buys like tons of books and I have like 23 books and oh my god, the buses. Okay, so excuse the bus that just went by. But yeah, I have 23 books to show you guys. So I'll just get started. So first up I have The Golem and the Genie by Helen Wicker, which is basically a love story between Chava, which is a Jewish golem, and Ahmed, which is a genie. And I think that the genie comes from the I don't know, I have no idea, but Arabic culture, and basically it's their love story in Manhattan. And I heard that people who love the Night Circus and the Discovery of Witches, which are two of my favorite books, would really enjoy The Golem and the Genie. So I'm really excited to start reading this soon. Okay, next I have More Than This by Patrick Ness, and I never read a Patrick Ness novel before, but I mainly bought this book because John Green has a blurb on the back that just said, oh my god, on multiple occasions, just read it. So I'm listening to you, John Green, I'm just gonna read it. And all I know is that it's basically about a boy who dies, then wakes up in his childhood neighborhood, and he has no idea what's going on. And I know that tons of people already read it and raved about it and loved it, so I'm hoping I'll be one of those people who read it and love it. And basically on a whim, I bought The Spectacular Now by Tim Tharp. Tharp? I have no idea how you say names. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but Tim Tharp. He also the person who wrote Knights of the Hill Country, Bad with Judies, and Mojo. And yeah, this is just basically about a guy who's getting his shit together. I actually picked this up because if you can see, there's Shailene on the cover. This is the movie cover. So I thought maybe, I'll watch the movie afterwards, and I hate seeing a movie that's based on a book without actually reading the book first. Okay, next I have Stolen by Lucy Christopher, and this won the Prince Award? Is that how you say it? The Prince Award? It's basically a letter of a girl who gets kidnapped, and the letter tells her entire story with her kidnapper, and she writes it to him. She's like, okay, so this is my view of our entire story. Next up, I have This Star Won't Go Out. Oh my god, the light. The light. Okay, can you see? I think that I'm shining the light. Okay. Which is a book about Esther Earl, which is the girl who The Fault in Our Stars, that was written by John Green, was dedicated to. And this, I found this, this book is basically parts of her journal, parts of her family's blogs about her when she was ill, right? And she has I think she has the exact same or very similar cancer to the one that Hazel has in The Fault in Our Stars, and it's really beautiful, I think, for fans of The Fault in Our Stars to see a more realistic take on that cancer than what John Green has written for his readers, because this is basically her diary with letters about her from her friends and her doctors about her condition and how she survived through it. And here's oh my god, a ladybug, oh my god, no. She fell. I have two books in the Paper Goth trilogy, which is Ink. Look how beautiful that is. And Rain. Again, beautiful covers. And this is a paranormal romance in Japan. So I already read them both, so I can tell you that the Japanese culture plays a big role in this character's story, because she herself is a foreigner from America who moved to Japan, and then just getting to know the Japanese culture, how to behave, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, getting a bit of the Shinto stories, which is the belief that is practiced in Japan back in the day, and I think still, I'm not sure. Next, I have The Merciless by Daniel Vega. You can see nothing because of the light. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Let me just get it closed. Okay. And what I really liked about the back, there's no like, it doesn't say anything about the story except that forgive us, Father, for we have sinned. Automatically this line reminds me of Supernatural, and I heard good reviews about this, about how this is really creepy and really nice. Like, you know, like the creepy nice, not like nice, you know, creepy nice. And obviously for a fan of Supernatural, saw this, saw like the star, the pentagon, I'm like, yeah, I'm buying that. And I really like the cover, like how it doesn't have a dust jacket and it's really like a bear, and obviously pink. Next I have Diary of a Mad Diva by Joan Rivers, and I think this is the second or third book that she wrote, and it is like a diary, like it's not actually her diary I think, but this is like, this book is in the form of a diary, and she basically writes about things that annoy her, things that she finds funny. And this is like for people who like the Fashion Police, for people who like Joan Rivers as a comedian, you should definitely go and pick this up. Like, that's the reason that I picked it up. I really like her sense of humor, and more, I like her ability to be able to laugh at herself. Like, not many people can laugh at themselves so publicly like herself, and she can do it, and she does it like throughout the book too. And I find that to be a very important thing for a person to have. Like, a person should be able to laugh at themselves. It's healthy, it's good, you know, don't take things too much to Saga. And Saga is life. And I cannot wait until the 4th volume is out. Okay, Saga. I also noticed that people don't talk so much about what Saga is about. Saga is basically the kick-ass version of Romeo and Juliet in space. Like everyone, I have to say that there's like very graphic nude scenes in here, so this is not for the younger readers. Yeah, so it's volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. And also love the artwork. The next book is White Space by Ilza J. Brick. I think that's how you say her name. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. And this book is about a college student who is majoring in English and has to write a story for her English class, and the story that she writes is an exact replica of a story that was written by an author that was killed over 100 years ago, where his characters basically came off the pages in the story to real life. And she has no idea how, because she hasn't heard about the author, she hadn't like heard about the manuscript, she has no idea how she wrote an exact replica of the story, and this sounds amazing, really. Sounds stupid. Like, and also the cover is beautiful. Like, this is a really good job of doing a black and white cover, because it's like interesting. And you know, usually I'm not the biggest fan of just white and black covers, but like this totally got me intrigued. Next up, I have Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. I think that's how you say her name. His name, her name, I have no idea. And this book was hyped over for like half a year ago. It was really, really, really hyped over. And eventually, I just broke, because it's like a Beauty and the Beast with the Greek mythology. What's not to love about this book? Especially because, you know, Beauty and the Beast, you know, Beauty was a fangirl at heart, so you can relate to Beauty. Belle. Why am I calling her Beauty? Her name is Belle, right? Yeah. So the next book that I bought is Insanity by Susan Vaught. I think that's how you say her name. And at the beginning, this book sounded okay, but it's basically about 4 teenagers and an asylum where people keep on dying and seeing stuff and are complaining like that there's hauntings. And I was like, yeah, okay, you know, sounds nice. That it intrigued me, but not like completely. And then I read about the author, and apparently she's a psychiatrist and she works on an asylum. So that really made me, you know, to go out and buy the book, because I think it will be really, really interesting to see, you know, a story about an asylum from someone who works like in that kind of department with those kind of people, it will be probably a very interesting take on something that people, like create hauntings and asylum is something that's very popular in the YA genre, in my opinion. And then, having this author's take on it would probably be very nice because she has, more professional knowledge about, like, asylums and people with mental cases and so on. Okay. So, the next book is Venom from Fiona Paul. And first of all, look at the cover. Like, that mask is beautiful. And also look at the pages. That's also really, really beautiful. But the reason that I bought this book is because this is in Venice, and it's about a girl who finds a dead woman's body with an X carved upon her head. And then she just gets swept into like a world of secret societies and battles, and it sounds, for me at least, it reminds me a lot of like the Mortal Instruments in Italy in some way, because I have a feeling that this was probably like has links to the supernatural, this murder. And even if it isn't, it's like, it's Venice, it's probably going to be amazing. So next up I have Passioners by Tonya Hurley. I think that's how you say her name. And this is the second book to Blessed, the sequel to Blessed. I have Blessed. This is the Blessed, which I read over a year ago, and I really, really loved it. And I found this book the story to be extremely unique. It's basically about teenagers, like in different points of their lives, that turns out that they're like reincarnations of saints from the Christian belief. And I'm like, what? I didn't expect it. It was really nice. Also, like, the artwork in the first book was beautiful. Like, so, and also the names, everything about this book was beautiful. It was extremely unique. I don't think I read anything like it before in the, anything that has to do with YA genre. And I think that, like, this is a very unique, and this, like, people would really, really like it. And after I read the first one, I was just dying for the second and had to wait a year. But now I have them. It. Why did I say them? Now I have it. And I think this is a trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. And the third one will also come in a year. Again, look at the amazing art in this one. Like, that's amazing. I love when people put effort into making the book look good, because when I read an amazing story, I want the book to be really, really beautiful too. Just adds to the amazingness of just reading an amazing story. Next up, I have Conversion by Catherine Howe. I think that's how you say her name. I'm probably wrong. I'm not really good with names. And this story sounds really amazing. It's about a girl. It's told from the perspective of one girl, but it's in a town where all these girls mysteriously get really, really ill with this sickness that nobody seems to have heard about or know how to cure. And apparently, the same thing happened in this town. Like, all these girls got mysteriously ill in Salem witches' trials. So, I'm gonna give you a wild guess, but obviously this is about witches, and I haven't read a really good witch book in like a long time, so I'm really looking forward to reading this book. Okay, next up, I have Beautiful Chaos and Beautiful Redemption. This is going to be a bit of a mouthful, by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stowe. I think I said their names right, like for the first time. And I'm so happy that I got this books already, because I read Beautiful Creatures and Beautiful Darkness half a year ago. And I actually started reading Beautiful Creatures after I saw the movie, which is probably awful, because only when you read the book, the movie did not do justice to the book at all. And I know that some people were like, the first book was good and then the second was not, and I was like, what? I really like the second book. And I'm really excited that I have the third and the fourth book, and I can continue on with the series and see what happens to Lena. Because, and Ethan and everyone. And next up, I have Fallen Kingdoms and Rebel Spring by Morgan Rhodes These books are amazing high fantasy stories with 4 perspectives, and that I already read the first book. Amazing. And it's basically about what happens to an island which is divided into 3 magical kingdoms from the perspective of a sorceress princess, a princess who is searching for a cure for her sister, and a poor boy from one of the kingdoms, when there's a murder that like takes and changes the entire destinies of like the 3 kingdoms and everything that has to do with it. I'm giving a really bad summary, but all you need to know is that it's high fantasy. It's been compared to the Game of Thrones. It's amazing. And last but not least, I have Tales of Mystery and Imagination by Edgar, how do you say his name, Allan Poe? Yeah, which is the Barnes & Noble's collector edition of all Edgar Allan Poe short stories. Yeah. And yeah, thank you for watching the video. Thank you that you came to this point and watched the entire video and didn't give up in the middle, because I'm guilty of giving up in the middle of some of like even my favorite booktubers videos. And yeah, thank you, and I'll have another video up for you soon, guys. Okay.